Wale wametembea huko nje, tuketi chini tumalize mkutano. Ningependa tusimame wote kwanza, because I know you are all tired. Tufanye hivi. Pande huu ingine. Asante sana, ketini. Thank you very much. I will be very brief. Ni respond to some of the issues mmesema. Alafu nipatie mheshimiwa waheshimiwa wenzetu wako hapa. There are very few of them. Alafu tunamaliza. Kwanza kabisa nataka kushukuru sana. Ile kuongea kwenu mmeongea vizuri, mmeongea free. Wengine tunakubaliana nao, wengine hatukubaliani. Lakini kama vile tulisema, tutachanganya yote na tupeleke ile mazuri isonge mbele. Kwanza wacha niseme kabla sijajibu maswali ama some of the things that have been raised here. Pia nyinyi mmeniongelesha, so niko na mambo machache ya kusema. Number one, kabla hatujafikiria sana kuhusu hii mahitaji yetu sisi kama machiefs, OCS, facilitation, magari, nini, extraneous allowance, na mambo mengine, nataka tujikumbushe kwanza kwamba wenye tuko hii nyumba hapa ndani tuko na bahati sana. Sisi ni wachache kwa Kenya ambao mwisho ya mwezi tunalipwa salary na tuko na slip yenye tunachukua pesa hata kama ni kidogo tuko nayo. We are a very small percentage, maybe 1% of the entire republic kwa wote wenye watu kwa public service. Kwa hivyo kwanza lazima tujiulize leo ni kwa nini tulichukua hii kazi. Siku yenye wewe uliapply kufanya hii kazi, why? And that's something we must remind ourselves every day, because sometimes ile desire ya kutafuta pesa inatufanya tusahau kulikuwa na kiini ya sisi kutafuta kazi hii. Kuna machiefs hapa waliandikwa kazi less than 2 years ago, hata hawajapata salary. Wako wapi? Kuna mwenye wako? Simameni nione wenye hawajalipwa bado, wamekuwa wakingojea. Asante sana. Etini chief, si wewe uliandikwa kazi 2 years ago? Si ulipoenda interview ulikuwa unajua hakuna gari, hakuna ofisi, ya? Si ndio? Hakuna ofisi, hakuna gari. Si wewe ni mtu ya hiyo location? Na vile ulienda interview si uliulizwa swali, kaambiwa utafanyaje kazi na hakuna ofisi? Ukasema ofisi ni ya nini? Mimi ni creative. Pale popote nitakuwa ni ofisi yangu. Si ukweli? Na kwa sababu mlikuwa na interview watu 20, wakaona wewe mwenye umekubali unaweza fanya hata kazi bila ofisi, wakakupatia. Mwingine akauliza please Keti, mwingine akaulizwa sasa wewe sasa wewe utafanya kazi namna gani na hakuna motorcycle? Akasema mtu ufanyia nini motorcycle kwa location yake? Si mimi nimekuwa nikizunguka hapa, nikitembea na kwa mguu. Sasa saa hizi ukiambiwa kwa nini uja respond wapi, unasema sina motorcycle. We must remember, even these OCSs who are here, they are among the cadre of police officers who perhaps are the only person who was picked at that time kwa location yake, because walikuwa wanachukuliwa wachache, na alipoenda recruitment walikuwa wengi, na wewe ukachukuliwa. Sasa wewe umesahau because it was 20 years ago. Umesahau kwamba you are among the very few Kenyans who have gotten a job that many people want to do this job and they are unable to get the opportunity. So, number one is to remember always that you have a job. Understand what is your job. All of us who are here are leaders. Leaders. Meaning that the people are expecting certain things from you and they're expecting certain behavior from you. You are a leader. As a chief, by the time unaitwa chief, you must respect yourself so that the community can respect you. As an OCS, by the time you are reaching a stage ya kuwa OCS, you are a leader in your community. There is no way utaenda certain division na wewe ujatangamana na watu wa sehemu hiyo, ujui hata nani ni wapi, pastor ya hapo ni nani ndio imam, nani anaenda kanisa gani, hata ugani na community hapo. How will you be helped? I am so surprised that tunaweza kuja hata mkutano kama hii na we are complaining. Chief anasema tuko na shida, polisi wanatusumbua, ukienda huko wanapendua evidence, polisi wanasema chief hawatusaidii. That is why we are failing. Because kama wewe ni OCS, forget about chief na assistant chief. For your job to succeed, you need first cooperation ya mama mboga, villagers wenye wako hapo, people of all cadre. So the first thing ukifika area fulani unajiuliza kwanza, stakeholders wenye watanisaidia nifanye kazi mzuri hapa ni nani? Unasema mtu ya boda boda, watu wa small traders wenye wako hapo, unaona vikundi ya kina mama, unaona youth leadership kwa area hiyo, unaenda sasa elected people like the MCA. Hata MCA anakuanga mbali because maybe MCA because it's within a particular division. By the time unafika MP, umemalizana your local leadership hapo. Sasa kama tutakuja mkutano kama hii na OCS ako na kesi na chief, by the time inafika wananchi, that is a problem. Now I'm told in some places, I was told, the fight is always who controls the market. So namna hiyo kuna hii kitu ya kupigana na chang'aa. So chief anajua lazima OCS akubali kwamba chief ako na uwezo ya kushika watu ya chang'aa. Because nikienda raid kama chief, nitaonwa vizuri kama mimi ndio in charge. Nitaokopwa na watu ya pombe. Of course unajua kuonwa, mimi nasema ni kuonwa aje. Haya sasa OCS anasema hapana, huyu na polisi wake, huyu anaharibu market. Yeah? Analeta ule mtu wa pombe chief ameleta, OCS anakuja kurelease. Ati ndio huyo chief ajue kwamba yeye hana uwezo ya kupambana na pombe. Ndio market ikuwe tu ni direct inakuja kwa nani? Kwa OCS. So part of the reason why we are not working together is not because supremacy ya nini, hapana. Ni corruption ndio inatufanya tunang'ang'ania nani will have control. So we have to deal with that issue, because why would you disagree with a chief he was willing to help you do your job? Why would you disagree with a villager? Why? You know, you have to provide proper leadership. There must be partnership and working together. You must understand your job. Kuna chiefs wako tu lakini hawajui job yake ni nini, hawafanyi research, hawasikii mtu yoyote, hawasikii anything, wako tu. Hata wakifika opinion, mkutano ikiitwa kwa location, chief akitaka kusimama, naona villagers wanamwambia wewe chief kaa chini kwanza. Wacha ule mzee, unaona ule mzee wacha atuongeleshe kwanza wewe chief. Chief unaweza funga baadaye. Na wakati chief anasimama kuongea watu wanaondoka kwa sababu wanajua hii chief mlevi huyu. Ule wanachukua hongo nani hako na time ya kusikia hii mambo yake. So you must understand your job, you must be the authority in your community. You know? Must find a way of ensuring that you are always above the others in terms of knowledge. Soma. Uwe ukisoma ama hujawahi soma, sikiza. Siku hizi you don't have to read. Unaweza Google, uweke simu yako usikie. Sikie mambo ya SHA leo, mambo ya housing, mambo ya nini, na ukichukua notes. Understand the job you are doing. Na usiende baraza chief na useme ati I don't know. Ta ukiuliza swali ngumu mwambie what is Pythagoras theorem, useme tu we are still consulting with sub-county DCC. There's no way you can say I don't know. Watu waende nyumbani wakisema ayo chief niliwaambia ajui kitu. Kuna chief ajui kitu kwa location yake. So tunajua wote what's going on. Ukweli ama sio kweli? Chief anajua nani alilala wapi, aliamka saa ngapi, anaendanga na nani. Nini, si nyinyi ndio mnaandika ile karatasi ya recommendation ya kupata ID. Kaambia chief huyu kijana ni nani? Sema ni ya Otieno, lakini Omondi ana claim ni yake. So tuandikie Omondi kwa sababu anafikiria ni yake lakini mtoto ni ya Otieno. Kama nyinyi mnajua hiyo mambo yote, itakuwa kweli bangi na pombe? You know all these things. As a chief, make sure that you are above the others. And you can be innovative. Ukiona ujui kitu fulani, tafuta kijana kwa hiyo locality, mtu amesoma, wale vijana machachari walikuwa hapa, ama mtu amesoma. Unaona wale watu wa CBO na NGO na nini wanapenda kuongea vizuri sana na wamesoma. Sasa wewe unajifanya tu nini, unapeleka yeye kwa baraza, naambia watu kwa baraza, kabla niko na maneno mingi sana. Kabla sijaongea, kuna huyu bwana ako na mambo machache. Na wewe unawaachilia yeye aongee. Wakati anaongea wewe naandika notes. Naandika point. Ikifika 30 minutes unasimama unasema bado niko na maneno ya 1 hour. Lakini naona nyinyi, nimeona watu wamechoka. Mnataka niendelee ama tufanye baraza? Of course watu washachoka sema hii ya nani imetosha siku nyingine. Watu wanasema kama chief anaweza lete huyu na aseme mzuri hivi, sembuse chief mwenyewe zako na maneno mazuri mingi na utakuwa umeponyoka. Next time ukirudi unaenda kusoma ile notes, unakuja sasa ku revise. Kwa hivyo you must leverage on the resources you have, creativity because of the job you have. Number 2, you must, one of the things that is making it very difficult for us to serve is corruption, ni wizi. And I have already explained to you some of those things. Sisi wote, why we are losing even respect ni kitu kidogo. Kufanya mambo ya succession, you are taking money from the bigger family. Facilitate certain defilement cases, you are colluding with the criminal to discourage witnesses, harassing them. Maybe you chiefs as hapo, polisi mwenye alikuwa investigator, you are colluding to do those things. Ukiwa barabara, wewe unachukua kitu kidogo. Na sijasema, I've been using the example of traffic. Traffic is because it's just most talked. Lakini corruption is permeated everywhere. And it's important for all of us to face it as it is. Yes, it is okay, Bwana Base Commander kusema, hata wananchi wanalete tu. Kwanza, there is a base commander yesterday who told us in Homa Bay, hata hatuchukuangi. Hao watu wanatupa tu, tunaokota kwa jina sema kuna pesa hapa. Hadi pesa imeangushwa hapa ni ya nini? Ati wakati bado unatafuta mwenyewe unaweka mfuko, mwingine atatupa tena unachukua. So, we are looking for all excuses to run away from corruption. Please, let's face it. If we don't deal with corruption, it will wind up our system. And the best way to deal with corruption is Jukwa la Usalama mashinani. To have accountability mechanisms that go to the local level. At least, like someone proposed, maybe quarterly, ama twice in a quarter, or once in a 2 months, mkuwe na baraza ya kujiuliza kwa division. OCS wako hapo, chiefs wako hapo, na wananchi wako. Nasema, how can we make our location or division better? Hapo ndio mtaambiwa, muache hongo, mfanye nini, there will be more accountability. One of the reasons why hamtaki mkutano is because wewe unajua usitaki kutolewa gia hapa mbele ya wananchi. There is need for level of accountability. That's why the Constitution talks about civilian authority. The civilian authority are the people you elected to be in office. So it is the wananchi themselves that should get feedback from the work we are doing. If we do so, hatutakuwa na hii fight ya kusema police na wananchi wanakosana. Hata wale wanachoma police station, wananchi wenyewe wata defend police station because they will say this is our police station. Tumekubaliana jameni? Mmenisikia? I have many things to say, but let me say that for now. And also add that now that we have sat here, there are certain things you have raised that are related to this county before I come to your welfare. Number 1, ni kitu ya shida ya baharini. We were told in Busia, we were told in Migori, shida yenye iko huko Muhuru Bay, that's the only place we have a border patrol unit. Kwa that side, tumeambiwa jana kwa Homa Bay, and I'm sure Kisumu also the same issues will be raised. We are cognizant of this fact, and for the BMUs who are here, kwamba, we are a bit weaker in terms of our numbers. And so we have a plan to increase the border patrol units along the lake. And after this recruitment to increase the numbers, that is something we are going to put as part of Jukwa la Usalama resolution. We are going to work together. And there is a plan to build also offices or port of entries or areas where border patrol units na Coast Guard are going to operate in. Already there is work that's going on here. Governor alikuja siku ngine mpaka ofisi yangu na waheshimiwa. We're building something in Usenge. Now it is the police had to leave some of its lands ndio hiyo ijengwe. Kuna zile the other places that have been mentioned, we are going to set up bases for the Coast Guard. In our modernization equipment, we are also importing we are getting some new boats, better boats that can help in manning the lake. But more importantly, tuko na joint cooperation na Uganda. And we had a meeting, and Mheshimiwa Joho aliambiwa to work together with the Minister of Agriculture from Uganda to see how and fisheries on how to deal with the issue of shared resources in the lake. You also need to appreciate that sometimes also a good job has been done by Coast Guard. Wali arrested some people, now kapelekwa kotini huko Busia, Uganda. So there are some areas that we are progressing, but we can do better. Pia the BMUs mtusaidie. As we sort your problem, sort our security problem also up, because kuna contrabands in a future through the fishing. That the BMUs should also come out and work with security team to deal with contrabands, alcohol, cigarettes, hiyo high five ya kutoka Uganda inaletwa through the sea, and it is also yourselves that have a role to play. Number two, hii county yetu tuko na challenge ya mambo ya defilement and gender-based violence. And mama amesema na watu wengi wamesema hapa, part of the reason is because of repugnant cultural practices like disco matanga. I don't know where disco inakutana na matanga. There was a time disco was disco, matanga was matanga. This one was dancing, this one was mooning. Sijui walikutana wapi ikakuwa at is one thing. I think that's something we need to deal with. And the best way to deal with is to deal with the families that are burying their loved ones, to engage them. If you know there's a funeral in a particular place, engage them. And let's agree, kusema, this is not, we are not going to allow this because it's going to affect us in 1, 2, 3, 4 ways. It's also good to deal with it through barasas. And that is what we discussed in Western, because it's also prevalent in that area. And it helpful when you have engagement through barazas, through nyumba kumi, and you're engaging the people, even as we look for legislative ways of addressing those issues. Again, mambo ya defilement, chiefs and assistant chiefs, please do not accept to use alternative dispute resolution mechanism over a kangaroo court ya village huko kuacha mambo ya watoto. You know that is a very serious issue, and you are in a position of responsibility. All these cases should be brought to the police station and then onwards through the justice system. Please, let's deal with this issue because it's very prevalent here. An entire Western and Nyanza region up to Bomet there, and then some places in Eastern. We really need to do something about defilement. Defilement is of great concern to us, and it's concern in this area. On issues of murder, part of the people, why you need to know that murder here is perpetuated by fighting over land, some of which is, a lot of it is about succession. Alafu ingine ni mambo ya competing for resources, and then robberies, stealing of livestock, mambo ya mining, and all those conflicts. I think we need to also address the root cause. The police have promised to do further operations to make sure that we deal with these criminal gangs that have been operating here. A lot of work has been done. There was a time 42 Brothers was a big problem in this region, but we can do more so that we can make sure that we sort out these issues. That is the IG has a way, he knows what he's going to do. There is an operation plan that we put in place, and the IG is going to deal with it. Thank you very much, IG. On the question of alcohol, drugs and illicit alcohol, again, I am very happy. Siaya is one of the counties where there is good interagency working relationship, but we can enhance that. I agree that there are certain licensing issues, testing issues, and so forth. Yes, the chief has proposed kwamba the reason why something is called illicit is because it has not gone through the legal system. So it's not for me to know whether it will be called changa or it will be called siaya drink or it will be called what. It's not my problem. The problem is that anything that is not licensed, that is not approved. Anything that's not approved is illicit. So we deal with it. If we want to get it approved, That is now manufacturing processes and all those other issues that we can be able to go through. I don't want anyone to leave here and say mkutano huu ulipitisha kwamba kutoka leo kwenda mbele changani mzuri tusonge mbele. Mwenye atasema ni mzuri ni KEBS and other agencies that are dealing with food and drinks and so forth. That process is there, and it is important for us to respect that process, because then it's the only standard way. That's why even Busa is being licensed, because then before the license, you are told about the process of manufacturing, and then you get a license and so forth, and can be monitored, so that watu waziweke nguo za ndani na kufanya nini, kufanyisha watu wakunywe vitu chafu. Again, we will continue our crackdown on drugs and alcohol. Most of the alcohol here, interestingly, there is no adulterated ethanol that is really highly distributed here. Most of it is just as on transit. So the real issue actually is the changa, and the chief has really applied his mind. And when we will have another discourse elsewhere, I think there's a lot of things we agree with him, and most of you agree with him that we must, incorporate the proper ways of processing, so that we can sort out the question. Because the only reason why some of these things are illicit is a failure for approval, not because the content is substandard or whatever you can say. And then we need to know what is the standard number for that drink that is manufactured where, whatever the name is going to be called. The other issue of this area is mining, unregulated mining. Again, we have agreed that we will hold a meeting with Ministry of Mining to think through the whole problem from Kakamega, Busia, Hapa, Migori. Migori is even worse. In the place I went to Migori, kila mahali mechimbwa chini ya nyumba, kando, nini, barabara. It is important that this thing be dealt with. It's health hazard, it's also environmental hazard, and it is also a cause of conflict. We need to follow the proper process, register these cooperatives, SACCOs for the artisanal miners, and then regulate it so that then they can be able to do their business in the right way. The other issue, something I wanted to emphasize here that the pastor raised was about religious extremism. Initial religious extremism was considered to be a problem with the Muslim faith. But now we have a big problem with Christian faith. So extremism is extremism depending on. And I don't think it can be called Christian faith. It's just that those who are posing as Christians, because that's not Christian doctrine. Just the same way that those who are using Muslim faith to mislead people are doing the same. I want to say that it's important here in Siaya, we cooperate the security sector. Chiefs, please. What happened to this thing of being brother's keeper? When you hear that there's a problem in certain part of the community, call Baraza, talk, create awareness. The story of Jared, is he called Jared, the guy who left here, all the way, after being rescued in Chakama Ranch, and brought all the way to Siaya. Left here again all the way with his children to the same neighborhood. Na akaenda kusupervise watoto wake one by one, wakistarve to death. It is just unfortunate. And no matter what we say about security, nobody will police everybody everywhere. So the only way is to have community cooperation so that we can be able to deal with this issue. And Siaya is also vulnerable because of that, and I think all of us need to deal with this issue. You have raised the issues of your welfare. So laja ni summarize. One, nimewaambia for the village elders, that issue is being dealt with. I have done the CAB memo. I will present the CAB memo to cabinet. Once cabinet gives directions, we will see how to facilitate village elders, not to give them salary. Government is unable to give salary to village elders because those who are salaried are employed in a particular way. But facilitating so that they can do their job, they have airtime, they have a torch, they have gumboots, they have something, umbrella, and something small. They can pay for share and so forth. That's something we are thinking through. Number two, administrative units which are here. Some date back to 2016, 2017. I have realized that also compared to the population, some of the location, sub-location, your request on these administrative units are very justifiable. But we received a very small budget the other day. We are sitting after next week when we are done with Jukwa to look at the map of the country and see the little money we have received once exchequer, there is an exchequer release, how many locations can we operationalize, how many sub-locations, who needs more, who has been marginalized for long, and I'm sure this county is going to get at least the operationalization of the sub-county and divisions and some of the locations and sub-locations. On the issue of your promotions, I have already said that. Career progression for the chiefs and assistant chiefs, we will work with Public Service Commission so that we anchor it properly, including making sure that there is no overlap between the ACC and the chief. Sometimes the ACC is supervising the chief, but the chief is up in terms of ranking. We also need to show how will a chief progress, even if when they reach principal chief, what next? Or, you know, how can we expand the whatever? Most of you have requested that we start with a job group hire, because where the job group you are, and then we need to know for how long one can be in one job group, you know, up to for what period of time, and that applies everybody to the ACCs. The ACCs are also asking about the promotion from 2021. That will be sorted. At least 4 years is not as worse as the cases of 10, 15 years. That one is going to be dealt with, and also the ACCs who are yet to go for training, about 300. We are going to sort that issue. As I said earlier, we want to have a clarity on how to promote police officers and how also to transfer them. That after this, that policy will be established and made sure that it is properly in place. Many of you, especially Ngao officers, have said that if transfer are to happen, the time it happens, let it happen at the end of the year, so that those who are with their children in their workstation can prepare for a different school for their children the next financial year, so that people are not paying school fees in the middle. On the matters of extraneous allowance and all those other issues, including the AIE, we are going to have to look at it based on the budget and see how to rationalize and timely delivery so that it can facilitate your services. These things require very huge budget. So there has to be clear engagement of different sectors, treasury, ourselves, public service, and then our parliament can be able to budget accordingly. There are certain things that are straightforward, like uniform. Uniform, since 1963, every chief was going to Embakasi to get a uniform. True or not true? And sometimes the uniform was not of the right size. Yeah? Ilienda huko Makueni huko. No, it was Kitui. Kabata chief mwingine, haona sura ni mwanaume lakini ni kama amevaa marinda. Kumbe longi yenye alirushiwa kwa Embakasi ilikuwa kubwa. So hata hapa katikati huwezi ona inatembea. Nikauliza why were you given that? Akaniambia ati tuliambiwa ati nilirushiwa, nikasema mimi ni Mwepamba. Ati nikaambiwa ati jikaze huko mbele, enda ujaribu na fundi. Kabla hajapatana na fundi, waziri akakuja, so akavaa ndio akuje mkutano. So nimesema uniform ipelekwe sub county. Mlipata uniform zetu kwa sub county, si ndio? The latest uniform was delivered at sub county level for the first time. And nimesema kila mtu apimwe itoshie size yake. Kuna issues ya mobility pia we are dealing and so mmeshasikia also pia kwamba all expecting chiefs, Ngao officers, police officers sasa wakuwe pia na uniform yenye they can wear when they are maternity. Hiyo ni kitu kubwa sana kweli, yenye inashinda watu kununua nguo tu ya maternity, na inaweza kuwa debate ya Kenya mzima. Ati mtu akikuwa expectant anaambiwa asenda uvae nguo yenye unataka mpaka mwaka moja, mwezi 9 ishe, kama mwezi 4, mwezi 5. So we have said that we should also facilitate our officers to get their uniform kama wamevaa maternity dresses. Ya mzuri sana. Yeah. Ulikuwa una survive aje? Officer. Unavaa civilian. Inakubalika sasa tuvae uniform ya Ni mzuri tuwe na uniform ya wamama.
Yeah, it is okay, sir. I will appreciate.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, thank you very much. Haikuwa yangu, niliambiwa huko Kirinyaga. Naambiwa tunataka uniform. So pongezi. And then so hiyo uniform ikwe tumekubaliana 1 month, is it 1 month? Within a month. Yeah, within a month. Wenye wanakuwa expectant waanze kupewa uniform within the next 1 month. Thank you very much DIG for all the ngao nini na nimesikia uko na chiefs wenye wako expectant, so nitakuja huko. Alafu what was the other issue? Mobility is a big challenge. Magari, true. There is a procurement process going on for the police that should be ready in the next I hope by December. There has been back and forth between Treasury and ourselves. I hope we can be able to do another leasing of 3,000 vehicles, and then we distribute fairly, you know, depending on the need. Please, magari ikikuja, I like what the DCC said. We must share. Yeah, tutumie sisi wote. Usiseme mimi ni wa AP, siwezi patia wa KPS. Mimi ni wa polisi, siwezi peleka DCC, siwezi peleka ACC. Let's share together because these are government resources. Let's pull resources together so that our work is done. I really know that the chiefs have said about their motorcycles. It's important, and we will see what we can do. But also don't stop working, waiting for the motorcycle because you are within your locality. The people who have suffered most in the ACCs. ACCs ndio wanaumia, wanatembea na moto nini, wanatembea na boda. Imagine dio wa zamani, siku ya kina Orengo walikuwa wanafukuzwa na dio wasifanye rally. Sasa dio wa siku hizi anatembea na boda, hata na Land Rover. Lazima tuone vile tunaona ACCs ama namna gani? Ama mnaonaje? Si namna hiyo. Hata tukiwa na gari mbili kwa sub county yenye itasaidia ACCs to do their job, it will be very good. Yeah. Madam ACC, wewe ni ACC? Wewe ni ACC wa wapi? Sasa kuna wakati unaenda kazi na motorcycle? Unaenda job na motorcycle?
Yes, sir.
Hebu muangalie huyo madam kweli. Amebebwa na jamaa wa boda. Alafu kwa sababu anaona kabisa amebeba ofisa, anamwambia ofisa shika vizuri. Na akikataa na kanyaga brake, so hakuna excuse. Inaharibia serikali. Asante sana. Thank you very much. Niliambiwa huko Makueni na ACC mwingine kwamba alikuwa amebebwa kabisa na a lady ACC amebebwa kabisa na motorcycle. Wakati mtu wa bodaboda aliona mkutano akakuwa excited, akaweka madoido, wakaanguka. Kofia yake ikapingirika. Ati mtu akashout kwa mkutano akasema serikali imeanguka. So we need to take care of the ACCs, and we understand that. DCCs, please facilitate the ACCs. Yeah, we will find ways of keeping at least a car maybe kwa every sub county ya kusaidia ACCs when we do the whatever, but please facilitate them watembee kwa heshima. I know some of you are living behind kiosks. ACC nyumba yake ni na anakaa nyuma, iko kwa bar, na bar iko hapa inapiga kelele, yeye analala hapa, alafu akitaka kuoga anabeba maji kwa bucket akienda bathroom yenye iko mbali huko. So those are some of the things we want to sort with housing project. There is a plan kujenga 17,000 houses for police officers, and in most of our counties we'll distribute fairly to housing project. Tukijenga sasa hata kama ni town hapa kwa police headquarters hapa, even if you are living in an outpost, even if you are operating from outpost, at least if you come to stay in a police station, it is easier as we progressively build this for the police stations. Pia kuna infrastructure challenges that we are trying to deal with. I want to request my brothers and sisters who are in parliament tutumie CDF sasa tusaidie our chiefs and our assistant chiefs, but also our OCSs to build good police stations and maybe housing where we can. But more importantly, good infrastructure of offices, because most of the police stations are neglected across the country. Even where we have multi-billion county projects, utaona a whole port inajengwa, but the police station next door ni ya 1940 something. Na ni kitu kadogo. We have to do something about it, and that is why I'm the one who asked that those pictures itumwe. Now we are analyzing the various police stations, the state of many of the police stations, and it's embarrassing. I'm happy that through Jukwa, because we have raised awareness on these issues, wananchi wengi sana ninaona wanatuma mapicha kwa social media. Police station ya this constituency, police station ya hii constituency ni mbaya, inaleta hata juzi mimi nilienda kakimbia nikaenda kujenga yangu, nikatafuta marafiki nijengange tukitafuta budget because niliona wataweka kwa Facebook. Na sasa watasema sasa waziri anaongea mambo mingi, angalia police station yake ya nyumbani huko. So all of us can do something about it, and where the county can help us of course your former waziri governor, we see how we can be able to assist each other to have good police stations where the resources allow, and we can sign agreement between the counties and the national government to facilitate these issues. Because of time, I know so many things have been raised. Mutanikubalia tu ni summarize a few of them. I was trying to summarize, but let me, just in case I forgot something serious, let me look at what you said about this place. Ngapu, we will, we are in the process of in days, we shall announce the days for recruitment of about 10,000 police officers. And if we do so, we will now operationalize the Ngapu and also strengthen the police presence kwa mashinani. Mambo ya police transport, I've said that. Mambo ya package for officers. Mambo ya regional training, I agree completely. Training is what is missing. We have begun to bring back training. Hata juzi OCSs, some of you were in Nairobi for the conference. And we will do it until all the OCSs are trained, and then we need to continue the training, like you've said, and we are working on making sure that there is a budget in National Police Service to continue training. Mambo ya specific areas where you raised issues, we are going to deal with that. County ICT system, best police. I agree with this reward system where you have best police officers, best police stations, and so forth. And this has been proposed also in a number of counties where we have been, and we will work on that. Mambo ya team building, I agree. Civil registries. Civil registries, I've said that latest next year by April, all the counties, all the constituencies must have a civil registry to start with, as we work to go closer. And by December, I have said 2 of them must open a civil registry office in this county to take services closer. Mental wellness, I agree. ICT, withdrawal of cases, village elders, acting OCSs, all those issues here, acting OCSs, the IG is going to deal with it. Mambo ya health cover, it's being reviewed. Your health cover for the police officers is being reviewed with a view of incorporating the issues you're raising here. Mambo mingi, rehabilitation center, hiyo ni ya governor. Jenge rehabilitation center, weke lights, serious places. What we have said for our students is that because of security, unique security challenges that we face, our students and their dean of students should be incorporated or invited to sub-county police, sub-county security committee meetings so that you can discuss their challenges at the sub-county level. The same to border. You need to incorporate them because they are a very important team, or the transport sector generally. Their leadership should be able to come together. But the uniqueness of border ni ile maneno tunasema wanaingia mpaka huko ndani. I think that prisons, we have captured your issues, mambo ya wildlife, compensation, and so forth. This and many others are very important. In our social media pages, I think there are also some questions people are raising. Mike Wakadenge anasema, there is a group of youths calling themselves 42 brothers who are killing and injuring wananchi without mercy. Chiefs and assistant chiefs know them, but they have been doing nothing. It's actually not chiefs and assistant chiefs who should do something. The OCSs, we need to do something so that we can make sure that we do proper enforcement. If people are a criminal gang, those are people who are lethal, and it is us to do enforcement. And I understand the challenges we have. Some are saying being arrested, judiciary releases, DPP returns the file. Let's work together in a multi-agency forum. You have got users a forum in every county that can be used to thrash out issues that attach with us and the judiciary. There is a lot of insecurity in Siaya County as a whole. People are being butchered like animals. No, this is an exaggeration. There is no, Siaya is safe. It's good for investment. There are challenges of insecurity here and there, like any other county, but it is not even as severe as sometimes can be exaggerated in such statements. So, Bwana Wakadenge, whereas we agree that we have challenges, Siaya is safe, it's a good place for investment, people are going about their business. We have challenges for security and we will deal with them. But it is not to the extent of saying people are being butchered every day. That is not the language for this place. At least that's not a security assessment. Paul Oyuga Oriaro kindly establish a police post at North Yimbo Chief Office, Usigu Sub-County to curb the increasing case of insecurity around the area. Wapi mtu anatoka North Yimbo, chief wa North Yimbo? Ako wapi? Ama ni ma chiefs? Chief, iko shida huko nataka police post? No, you don't need a mic. You don't need a mic. It's just okay. You have shida kama hiyo? OCS wa area hiyo? Wapi OCS mwenye anakava North Yimbo? Ni Usenge, eh? Do we need a police post like this man is saying? Oh, okay, so you need to do the assessment and then escalate it accordingly. You find out whether it is necessary and whether we are able to do it and we have the strength to do so. Leonard Wasonga, kindly do a spot inspection of matatus over all public transport overload passengers. That is true all over the country. Now, this is where it is not just the traffic department, it is also members of public. Matatu inabeba 14 na unajua. Na wewe bado unaingia unasema tu tupendane tuingie. We also need to take responsibility as citizens. Because if that matatu ikipata accident, we are losing lives because of that irresponsibility. We need officers in Oyunde police post. We will see what we can do. As a resident of Siaya, one challenge that we do face, that was Onya Indo, Namwisho, Opondo Lawrence. As a resident of Siaya County, one challenge that we do face is that our police officers do not have houses. They live in houses that resemble those that were used by colonialists. Kindly address the issue of plus patrol vehicles and motorbikes. That is true, Opondo, and that I had answered earlier that that's some of those issues we are dealing with. Mimi nashukuru sana. Kwa hivyo, sasa at least nimeattempt kujibu. You will see all your issues captured based on the memoranda you gave us and the things you raised here and the ones that were already given to us by the county security team. It's now my opportunity to invite Honorable Chanda on behalf of the members of parliament here so that you can recognize the speaker, or let me call the speaker. The speaker, please recognize the MCAs. Sema neno moja, ita Mheshimiwa Chanda, ni kama hakuna mtu mwingine ana recognize, alafu aite Mheshimiwa Governor. Si namna hiyo, alafu tumalizie hapo. Asante sana. Thank you very much.
Makofi mazuri kwa Bwana CS. Bwana CS, this is the political class. I may not be a politician, but I work with politicians. When we see you here from this region is ODM stronghold. It sounds irrelevant, but we remember when you used to be in ODM with Baba, you are a staunch supporter. And every time you used to be on TV, we could all be glued there. Can you clap for the CS? When I CS, this is the best opportunity you've given us. And to the political class, when the police officer mentioned that you have security officers,